From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
DBIC Primetime Capper, and it is time for the Sport Betting Show, the Primetime Eagles Live. And boy, oh boy, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great on Wednesday afternoon. So pretty much here we are in last night for college basketball. Gonzaga last night improved 30-0 with a monster win last night, and this team showed everything I told you guys about in the show, or pretty much yesterday, that the only way they can lose is if they beat themselves. I thought that USC had a good opportunity to challenge them, but once you saw that USC went down 7-0, it was already over. And I hate to say that, but the thing was, they had did everything they possibly wanted to do to show USC exactly what was about to come for the rest of the game. USC didn't make the adjustment, and there it is. USC panicked very early in this game, and it showed that they have a green coach, and they had a lot of green players out there with them as well, too. You have to understand, USC isn't like UCLA where you have guys where the tradition is constantly being thrown in your face, because USC doesn't have the same tradition when it comes to basketball. It's all about football at the school. But Gonzaga at the end of the day showed all of us that they are the team to beat in college basketball, point blank. This reminds me of Coach K's old Duke squads. This reminds me of a lot of things. But at the end of the day, Mark Few deserves the opportunity to be at this stage right now. He's won so many games, so many conference tournaments, so many regular season conference titles and things of that nature. And they pretty much beaten every team that is supposed to be some elite team or something like that in college basketball. So it's time. And everybody really is pretty much getting themselves prepared for that shining moment. But at the end of the day, they still have 2 more games to go. But USC had a great season. It looks like Evan Mobley could be a top pick in the draft. But I would love for Evan Mobley to come back and play for USC for another season with his brother, and then, try to chase a national championship. But a lot of people, how everybody is, counting other people's money, thinking that they're going to be mortgaging their future if they don't go to the NBA. But let me give you guys some real game. What if you go to the NBA and blow your knee out in the first game? It's the same situation, right? So why be so scared to give college a second year and chase a national championship and become a true USC legend? You know what I mean? That's a challenge in itself right there. And people have to understand, the NBA is actually going back into how it used to be. Guys aren't going to be running out once they, are freshmen in high school, college, running to the NBA anymore, because a lot of these guys need a lot of work. If you looked at it, it was a more juniors, seniors, and sophomores that were on all these teams that actually went somewhere in the tournament. You know what I mean? If you had a team full of freshmen, you guys were sitting at home, a la Duke, a la Kentucky. So pretty much, at the end of the day, you guys have to understand that when you're well off like these guys are in today's college world, you can stick around. If the NBA enticing you to come and play is really almost detrimental to your skills at the same time too, because they're recycling so many players right now. I see guys in the state of California who are the top players in the nation, and they go to college like Duke, Kentucky. They don't really have a great season, but they still think they're ready for the NBA because that guy told them at that gym that day that they were all world. They're hearing it from some old NBA vet who isn't even working for any of these teams. They're just telling them this. So then when they get in the draft, it's almost like a pity pick, in my opinion. Oh, they've known you for all these years, and they see that you're sitting there in the second round still. Oh, well, let's go ahead and put let's take a flyer on him and put him in the G League. Damn. And then you might not ever play in the NBA because you might not be better than the guys in the G League. So I'm telling you, polish your game in college and then be ready for the NBA when you get there, like the Kawhi Leonards of the world, the Steph Currys of the world. You know what I mean? That's why these guys are all world. See guys like Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant 7 foot and can shoot from 40 feet out. Of course, he's not going to have to stay in college. He's a guy who could go straight to the NBA because his size calls for it. But the rest of y'all got to get polished, bro. And that's why all these guys are struggling to really be that dude as soon as they get to the NBA. LaMelo Ball was an exception in a sense because he was just, all world in high school as is, and then played against professionals, all that good stuff. So, it works out for him. But all in all, let's move on. I could talk about this all day, but there's a team that looked really good last night in a classic, and UCLA goes ahead and wins the game 51-49. It was a big, big win for them last night. And this was their 19th visit to the Final Four. And everybody knows that they're number 2 on the list now. But we all know who has the most national championships, and that's UCLA. And seriously, UCLA looks to really they really cemented their legacy here. It doesn't even matter what happens in the Gonzaga game. If they beat them, great. But you know what? Most likely it will probably be the end of the season. But all in all, though, they're still going to have a lot of pride in that game. And, UCLA played a damn good game last night. Johnny Juzang, 18 points in the first half yesterday, was literally the reason why UCLA was able to stay in this game. He dropped 28 in all. And UCLA dropped 51 points as a team, so he outscored his teammates by 5 points last night. But I know he's used to that from his high school days at Harvard Westlake, guiding and leading a team to a victory. And he did exactly that last night because they just did not have their guys stepping it up last night. The other JJ was a little off last night. Bernard didn't really get anything going till late. And then who actually stepped it up and had probably the biggest buckets of the game late, but fouled out. He barely played last night was Cody Riley. Cody Riley got down there twice last night, 2 hook shots in a row, and was able to put USC back up 3 late at that time. It was 48-45 at that moment when he did that. So it gave them a lot of confidence. But every time you looked up, you just kept feeling like UCLA, when are they going to slip it? When is it going to slip out their hands? Because Michigan was right there just at their throat, but Michigan couldn't connect. A lot of bad shot selection there at the end of the game. But I told you guys yesterday that literally this was going to happen, that it was going to come down to the X's and O's. And Mick Cronin showed that he's a much better coach at this time than Juwan Howard. Juwan Howard was able to guide these guys to a number 1 seed, have a great season, all that good stuff. But everything came so easy for him. And then when the going got rough, they really couldn't step it up. But look at UCLA. UCLA has been through the grinder. UCLA was at one point, UCLA was one of the last 4 teams into this tournament this year. They literally let UCLA in because of the tradition of UCLA. If they would have been any other school in the Pac-12, they probably would have missed out on this and would have had to be an NIT team. But all in all, though, UCLA took care of their business last night. They've been the dog in 5 of their 6 games here as well, too. They did get the benefit of the doubt with getting a 14 seed team and Abilene Christian, but that shouldn't be a big deal. That's the tournament for you. But they knocked off a very good Alabama team who was number 5 in the nation, and then they knocked off a very good Michigan team who was number 3 in the nation. So now they're chasing the number 1 team in the nation here on Saturday. So pretty much UCLA, what a season, grit and grind. And hopefully this team sticks together as well, too, because when a guy says, I love playing with these guys, you might be able to keep them around. I think Johnny Juzang will maybe stick around maybe another year with the Bruins as well, too. I don't know if they see him as a top 15 pick, but he had a game last night, and it was a great one. So at the end of it. So, pretty much there it is. That's the Final Four for you. You have Baylor and Houston facing off, and then you got the West Coast well represented. You got the boys from Washington, Gonzaga, and then you got the boys from Westwood, UCLA. We're going to have a mighty good time come Saturday afternoon. I have my picks for you guys Friday for Friday's show when we talk tickets, okay? So let's go ahead and move forward and talk about our next topic in hand, and that's going to be the NFL. The NFL approved 17 games. What difference will it make? Well, now we really do have ourselves a place where guys can go ahead and actually clinch a playoff spot, rightfully so. The 9-8 is going to be a big thing now, because now you either have a winning record or you have a losing record. No more of this cut and even stuff, unless you get a tie during the season. But all in all, 17 games I think works out a lot, because this is a tiebreaker in a sense. You know what I mean? It worked well last year when everybody was trying to get seating together and stuff like that. But to me, I just really feel like, the extra game shouldn't be that big of a deal to the players, because they do make a good amount of money, and they do get to have some time off if they are hurt now. Because now, if you're a hurt player, they're going to give you some time off if you say that you're hurt, and it's not going to be a big deal. You can actually go on injury reserve for 5-6 weeks and come back and play during the season. So, at the end of the day, it shouldn't be this big of a deal, because I think that NFL rosters have always been very, very interchangeable. They always are going to be changing week by week because somebody's going to be hurt. So, look at it. This is just for more entertainment. The players might not like it, but the fans love it, and the owners love it as well too. And the NFL is the most popular sport in the country, so they're going to try to squeeze as many dollars out of that situation that they can. So people have to get over that fact that, they're playing too many games. Well, the NBA guys don't complain about playing 82 games. You don't see the MLB guys complaining too much about playing 162 games, because they're getting paid. They ain't worried about it. They know that's how you figure out these seasons. There's a lot of teams in the league, and the NFL is 32 teams. You play against your division twice, and then you play against another division within your conference once, and then you play against the other conference once. So pretty much you get 16 games in a year. You don't even have to see every single team in the league. And this to me works out for, pretty much this type of situation where you have a season that's going to be 17 to 18 weeks. And then hopefully we'll be able to add in that seventh playoff team. So then we can have some real fun with the 2-7 to 3-6 to 4-5 and get ourselves to the next round and everything like that. So you guys already know, man. So NFL approved 17 games. And with them, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. But this makes plenty of dollars. All right, so let's move forward and let's get into it. Let's talk about the state of the Lakers. The Lakers tonight will unveil Andre Drummond. A lot of people are getting a little bit too overexcited for me, in my opinion. I think that you guys need to simmer your expectations a little bit and understand what type of player Andre Drummond is. Andre Drummond is a guy that's 10 feet and in. Andre Drummond is a guy that's going to be an offensive and defensive rebounder. He's going to be a good shot blocker as well too. But he's also going to be a guy that's going to be missing a lot of free throws. He's going to be a guy that's going to be missing a lot of chippies as well too. And he's a guy that you're going to have to teach how to win consistently. At the end of the day, he always plays with heart and he always plays with drive. But when you play with bad teams, you know how to quit too. You really do. Detroit, Cleveland, Detroit was okay. But you know what? At the end of the day, Cleveland was always an eyesore for him. And, winning consistently, he hasn't really seen that since he was in college, in high school. So, he got to get that mentality back into a champion's mentality. A champion's mentality is much more different than a player's mentality, okay? And he's going to be able to handle the pressure from AD and LeBron when things aren't going well too. And I know he can, but I'm just going off giving you guys fair warning. I've been rooting for the Lakers for the last 30 some odd years. I remember when everybody got excited about Glenn Rice coming. He wasn't a good fit, okay? So you got to make sure these guys fit. I think Drummond can fit into what we're doing right now, but please do not compare him to Shaquille O'Neal. Do not compare. I don't even want to compare him to Bynum right now. I much rather just say, okay, we got a good guy. We took him out of a bad situation. Now reward us with great gameplay. It's that simple. The Lakers owe him nothing. And at the end of the day, they gave him a roster spot because he got bought out. And the Lakers kind of ran into a bad situation. If you still have Bron and AD, I don't think that they chase Drummond like that, to be honest with you. But all in all, though, it's time. The Lakers and Nets are arming up in a sense. This is like heroes and villains. But I truly do think that everybody's trying to say that the Nets are playing the villains, but I think the Lakers are still the villains because everybody hates the Lakers, but Laker fans. So pretty much you guys have to understand that part as well too, because LeBron has many haters, AD has many haters. It seems like people are falling in love with the Brooklyn Nets because you got KD, you got Harden, you got all the guys who got mad at their teams and said we got to play together. And then you got Kyrie as well too. And then you got two guys who used to be somebody in the league in Blake Griffin and in Aldridge. But all in all, though, those are only 6 guys or 5 guys, whatever. And I don't know if they can just take it all the way. And you got to still remember about Philadelphia, who's a really damn good team as well too. So pretty much the Lakers tonight, they got to go against the Bucks. The Bucks aren't as scary as they seem. This team can really be beat, dude. At the end of the day, they lost to the Knicks the other night, but the Knicks are playing good basketball. But all in all, though, they're going to come to this game. They're going to overlook the Lakers. The Lakers got an opportunity to steal this game tonight, and they better be up to it. You know what I mean? Don't just be up here, okay, we got Drummond, and then I guess AD will be back in a week. No. Get your butt on out there and go get your playing time, because I'm gonna tell you like this: in the playoffs, a lot of these guys playing right now for the Lakers ain't gonna be playing. Okay, so they better get in all their minutes right now. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, state of the Lakers, they have themselves. They're an 8.5-point dog tonight at home, rightfully so, because they are shorthanded. But that just, to me, looms the danger for a team like the Bucks in a sense, because everybody's going to overplay them, and you can wind up seeing the Lakers get themselves a big win tonight. But we'll see how it shakes out. That's the state of the Lakers. Let's move forward and talk about the player of the night. Right, the player of the night. This was a good one too. This player of the night wound up being the boy, Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. actually had himself a really good game last night, and he was able to score 27 points, get 11 rebounds and 4 assists. But the story of the game was he shot 11 for 16 from the field goal, and then he also hit 5 out of 7 threes last night as well too. So this is good. MPJ is actually moving his stock up, and I think that he can be a $100 million player without so much game time as well too, because you have to understand he was a sneaky draft pick, because this guy was supposed to go number 1 in the draft the year he came out, but he had a back issue at Missouri, so he dropped in this draft, and the Clippers missed him by a pick. So pretty much this guy right here has a lot of potential to be a big-time player in the NBA if he can stay healthy. But I think at the end of the day, they just need to focus in on that. He can be a very high-end role player at this point. And I think that's what suits him best. You don't want to put that pressure on him as of yet. I think that he can get paid when he gets to the next team, because I don't think that him and Denver are going to be together forever. I think that this is going to actually be a player that they're going to be moving to get another big asset sometime down the road if they really want to play for championships. Now, MPJ would be a great fit for that championship team, in my opinion, but I think that the guy would really relish in a bigger market, to be honest with you. So there it is, MPJ, player of the night, and there it is. So pretty much with that, let's go ahead and let me check my script. And yep, we're going to go ahead and check out hackclub.com real quick. And hackclub.com, you guys go ahead and make a $50 order, and you get 10% off by pressing that link in the show description. Once again, you get 10% off on a $50 order or better at hackclub.com. So with that, we will be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another, and Night Quiz. Also trained two-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube. All right, we're back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And we are heading into boxing news. And up first, we got Crawford and PacMan, close to a deal. Announcement coming soon. I told you guys about maybe a month ago that we would be seeing a Crawford Pacquiao fight in July. They're trying to set it up for July 3rd, for June 5th. And I did tell you guys it would be in probably would be in Dubai or Saudi Arabia. They are going to probably go ahead and do this in Dubai as well too. The announcement should be coming in about the next week or two. When they say they're working on a deal, that means that they've agreed to some money on the deal as well too. And this should be forthcoming in the next few weeks. And I know a lot of people see this fight as the end of Manny Pacquiao. I would say that you shouldn't say it would be the end. I would think that this could probably increase some visibility to Floyd to have their rematch, to be honest with you. And then, Crawford gets to have that golden ticket on his resume that will say to Errol Spence that you're not getting 60-40 from him. And if he annihilates Pacquiao, then really I would say that the person that would need to get the big share of the purse would be Crawford, because come on, he annihilated a legend who's a big money fighter. And at the end of the day, you can't just keep using the fact that, you know, that you were Al Heyman and all this stuff and that you deserve more money. You know what I mean? Who cares that you're with Al Heyman and you deserve more money, dude? Just fight the guy. You know what I mean? You got Crawford over here. Everybody's going to get mad because if Crawford goes over here, beats down Manny, they're going to say, oh, he was too old. And that's going to be – and I don't want to hear that excuse, because at the end of the day, Manny feels like he can still fight, and you guys worship him so much that he's a god of boxing. No, what you call it? If he gets whooped, he's going to get whooped, because you know what? Crawford was always a better fighter than he was. And if Crawford would have fought him 5 years ago, it will probably be the same result. That's what you guys have to understand. Manny is a cherry picker as well, too. He did fight Shane Mosley and Margarito and all these guys, but he saw little flaws in these guys as well, too. And that's why he went after him, because were they undefeated fighters when he fought them? No, they were not. So pretty much, let's stop using that as our holy grail of saying Manny's such a great fighter. I think Manny took advantage of wounded ducks, in a sense, to be dead honest with you, in his prime. And he did very well. He knocked these guys out, and it all worked out for him. But all in all, when he got to the boss level, when he got to M. Bison, he got wiped out. When he got to the final boss on the boxing game, he got wiped out. You know, it's like getting to Tyson, and you know I'm an 8-time champion on Mike Tyson Punch Out too. I still can't get past Mike. You know what I mean? Without the cheat code. So it is what it is at the end of the day. But these two, they should give us some good drama here, and this should be Bud Crawford's moment in time. And Bud Crawford can actually start going to the highest bidder after this one as well too, in my opinion, to be that honest with you, if they're able to work this, if they're able to get this thing going. So there it is, Crawford, Pacquiao. hopefully we can get this thing going, and it is what it is at the end of the day. So we move on, and we have ourselves another doozy of a fight. We got Errol Spence Jr. About to probably face off with Yordanis Ugas, the Cuban legend. And pretty much this would be a unification. This would be the WBC and IBF titles on the line, going for that WBA crown. And I think this is exactly what Errol wants to do. He wants to collect all these belts. And I'm going to tell you like this, everybody's going to be begging for him and Crawford after this is done if he's able to win the fight. But guess what Errol's going to do to y'all? He's going to move to 154. I'm telling you right now, he's moving. He's probably going to move to 154, and he'll try to challenge for belts there. Even though his buddy Jamal Charlo is actually same trainer, everything. He's the 154 kingpin. But if you think about it, are they that close? I don't know. I don't really think so, but they do have the same trainer though. So pretty much would you think that I would think that maybe Charlo might move up to 160 while his brother may move up to 168 because there's a lot of people calling him out at 168 as we speak, such as David Benavidez. So this makes sense to me if Errol was to just go ahead and sweep the board in the welterweights and move up to 154, because there's really wouldn't be much more for him to do at 147 except for get beat. That's it. I think moving up to 154 would be the right idea. And see, the funny thing is, you can believe me or not, but I sat in a gym with Errol almost 2 years ago, actually at Bones Adams' gym, and he kind of mapped out what he wanted to do to me. And he said that he wanted to collect all the belts. He said Sean Porter would be next. This was a few months before he fought Sean Porter. And then, I want to go on and fight Danny Garcia. And then I want to go get that WBA belt. And then I'm moving on. And then once I go ahead and collect all the belts at 154, bring me Canelo. So I would say the Canelo fight should be within the next 18 months, to be dead honest with you, if everything stays on the path. But let's not forget about how hungry and how good Yordanis Ugas is. Ugas will need for this fight to be not in Texas for him to really have a superior chance. And he might not want this fight to be in the state of California either, because he got absolutely hosed in that decision with Sean Porter. And Sean Porter is my dog, but Sean even know he lost that fight. So pretty much at the end of the day, Yordanis Ugas is the guy with the big chip on his shoulder, and he could be the guy that spoils all of this right now. All these dream fights that you people have, he could be the spoiler of this thing, because Yordanis Ugas can fight. He can, and he does very well. And the guy was in the Olympics as well too. He's a very well-rounded athlete as well too. If you look at his photo book, he's good friends with Chapman, the closer from the Yankees. And pretty much he's ready to be a superstar in boxing and just in life and period. And he's a guy, if he wins, it's well-deserved, because he's came a long way from those days in Cuba. So pretty much this could be one of the better fights of the year. I would say it would be 5 fights a year, because Errol Spence has some problems figuring this guy out. He's long and lengthy, and he knows exactly how to box. You know what I mean? There ain't going to be none of this, I'm scared to punch you and all this good stuff. If he sees a jab, he's going to fire it. He's going to shoot it. So this is going to be a damn good fight. And I think that we all should be getting excited for this one as well too. So July 3rd, Spence versus Ugas, unification. I don't know where they're going to exactly fight yet. I would say that it's going to either be Vegas, LA, or back to Arlington. But I don't know if you want to do I don't know if Jerry's going to want to do 2 big boxing matches at Arlington this year, maybe just one. And Canelo already has a date. So we'll see how it goes. And Ugas isn't a guy that you put in the AT&T stadium either. Ugas is more of a fight that you have at a casino in Vegas, or you're going to have the fight over at American Airlines Arena or over at the Star or something like that. No offense to Ugas, it's just that, it's not going to be the drawing power that you feel that it could be. So with that, we move forward, and we got ourselves a pay-per-view that I want to explain to you guys why this is a pay-per-view. This is Cinco de Mayo weekend, and this is a rare occasion that will probably not be seen for a long time. You got 2 Mexican warriors strapping it up on May 1st to go at each other. This fight, my boy talked about to Andy Ruiz about this and he said, "Hey, Andy, if you were to win the world title, would you fight Chris Arreola at what you call it? And you know this would be one of the biggest fights ever." And he told him this a few years back, to be that honest with you. So the thing is, I think somebody at PBC overheard him when he was doing this interview with Andy, and they really put it to themselves that this could be a pay-per-view fight. And yes, it can. You have two Mexican heavyweights, a very rare sight. They're both very popular in Hispanic households as well too. And you have to understand they're respecting Andy Ruiz because Andy Ruiz was at one point literally the undisputed heavyweight champion in the world. Only belt he didn't have was the WBC belt. He beat Anthony Joshua. He's no longer a pay-per-view star now. He's fought on 2 pay-per-views that did very well, and that's exactly what PBC is doing. So it's showing that you guys aren't that hurt. You're just thinking that it shouldn't be a pay-per-view because some writer thinks that it shouldn't be a pay-per-view, but they don't understand the business of boxing that well. This is a business decision. They're going to have the fight at Carson. It's going to be a sellout, and they're not going to get 1 million buys on the pay-per-view, but they should be able to get 250,000, 300,000 because you people still will buy the pay-per-view because you want to watch the fight live and live and in concert and have your opinion after the fight is over. So shut up and just get to it and order the damn fight. They're not even going to charge you $70 for that. I think they'll hit you for about $40-$50 for that one, okay? And that one, I think it's a marketing strategy that works very well. Carson, Cinco de Mayo weekend, 2 Mexican heavyweights. Why not? All right, so let's move forward. Devin Haney is set for May 29th, Mandalay Bay. He gets to fight in Vegas, his hometown, his adopted hometown, because he's actually from Oakland. But I don't know, the guy's from a lot of places. Like they got him in DC and New York, and you know they move around a lot. But Pops is from Oakland, so pretty much we'll just have that. And shout out to Devin and Bill. I know you guys are the best. But all in all, this is going to be Devin Haney's toughest fight of his career. I don't care what anybody thinks. This is going to be very tough. Jorge Linares is at one point a few years ago, he was one of my favorites, top 5 on my list. But you know, time goes on, guys get old, and you know, pretty much after the Lomachenko fight, a lot of people kind of felt like he was a very touchable fighter. But I've always felt like, you know, if he would have been a little bit more aggressive in the Lomachenko fight, he could have won that fight. He knocked down Lomachenko in the first round. So pretty much, you know, I think that he just literally kind of got comfortable, breathed a little bit, and Lomachenko took advantage of it. Now, Devin Haney, if he's able to go ahead and defeat Jorge Linares, he doesn't need to think about Ryan Garcia. He doesn't need to think about Teofimo Lopez. Once again, as I said before, Devin Haney needs to fight Lomachenko. And if he can beat down Lomachenko beat down Lomachenko, something that T.O. didn't truly do, then Devin will get all the respect in the world because Lomachenko is still seen as a top-tier fighter. And if he's able to smash Lomachenko, then now he gets that respect that he's been craving for. But if he goes in there and just fight in there and then skips out and says that he wants to fight Luke Campbell or somebody, then everybody's going to be like, well, okay, whatever, Devin. And they're going to ignore you for the next few years like they did our boy, Pretty Boy Floyd. So, you know, you have to start making the best fights, even if it's fights that people think that you might lose in my opinion. And I think that the Loma fight is the only fight for him next after this because he's going to make the most money he's ever made in a fight as well, too, fighting Lomachenko. So it should be good, but he has to get past Linares. Linares is not going to be a walk in the park. And the only thing that I question Devin Haney about is the training situation. This guy has a new trainer in damn near every fight. And it's not because he's not a good it's not because he's not a good team player or anything like that. He's a sponge when it comes to boxing knowledge, but it's just that he's trying to find that partner in the training world. And if you don't have that yet, that's kind of something that's questionable in a sense. I would think that honestly, you could just already going over and have some. I don't understand why he doesn't have one of the Mayweathers training him. Jeff is always available, so why not? You know what I mean? Jeff is pretty good at his job. So, all in all, Devin Haney, this is going to be his biggest fight. Jorge Linares is looking to keep afloat. And if he's able to win this fight, then he gets new life. And I know that he'll have everybody calling his phone to get a big fight going with him because, Ryan Garcia kind of ducked out on him. So Devin took care of it. Devin jumped in while Ryan's going to fight Javier Fortuna. Boo! Boxing fans don't want to hear that, Mr. Garcia. Sorry, bro. You might as well just start just doing the Instagram modeling thing if you're not going to fight nobody. Seriously. And this is coming from somebody that got mad respect for you, bro. But I don't know if you want to be a boxer anymore. I just think that you like taking videos of yourself and being on Instagram, bro. And, talking about you hanging out with Canelo and stuff. Canelo over there drenched, sweaty, and Canelo already got 5 guys on the list he want to fight. And he ain't running from nobody. So you need to be more like Canelo and stop trying to be the Abercrombie and Fitch model of the month. Okay? So with that, that's boxing news for you. We'll have some more for you next week. It's always a topic of a discussion for me because you guys know my reputation. So pretty much with that, you guys check out Paramount Plus. Awesome stuff. You guys can go ahead and watch all the great shows, and you guys can stream all the NCAA games, tournament games there as well, too. So Paramount Plus, use the promo code VSX. You guys will get a great deal as well, too. It is very worth the money, in my opinion, because people are cutting the cord, and this is why. All right, so we will be back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, and let's get into the NBA Wednesday preview. And up first, we have the Heat and the Pacers, and the Heat actually are finally won a game after struggling literally their last 6. So they actually went ahead and won their last game to improve to 6-7 in the month of March. Then they're 2-6 on the road, so it's a really tough month for the Miami Heat. But Victor Oladipo is there, so they should be good. And the Pacers should be feeling good about themselves. They've already beaten the Heat twice this month. They beat them in a back-to-back, actually, in Miami as well, too. So they're feeling pretty good about their chances against this team tonight. I know they are. So we'll see how it shakes out. They're plus 1.5 tonight. They're 6-7 in the month of March as well, too, but they're 1-2 at home. They've only played 3 home games this month. So when you look at it, I say to myself, you know what? The Pacers should probably be able to win this game because they just got Miami's number. So we'll see how it goes and move forward. This was a OG. This is a good OG game right here. This is the Blazers and the Pistons. I always call these a good OG game because at one point in time they were some of the best teams in the NBA and they played in the NBA Finals. This was the Pistons' second championship. For all the youngins that don't know, they had beat a very good Blazers team that season, and the Blazers coming here as a heavy favorite tonight. And I think that this is pretty good for them. But you know what? The sneakiest team that you can bet against is the Pistons, especially when they're at home. So you're going to have to see how it goes. Sadiq Bey has been playing some pretty good basketball up under the radar, so I think that tonight this game will wind up being a doozy, a really good one. But I think we're scoreboard watching with this one as well, too. And quite honestly, I think what happens here is that probably the under does occur here because the Pistons don't score a lot of points. So it is what it is at the end of the day. We move forward and let's talk about the Raptors at the Thunder, and the Raptors coming to this 1-12 in the month of March. That's pathetic. 0-7 on the road, and they are a 7-point favorite in this game. But actually, it's dropped down to 6. I think by the time we get to tip, it'll be at +5. So pretty much, I have the Thunder as our dog of the day. This is the dog of the day spot right here. So you guys, I don't care what. And it's funny, they're a big dog tonight, and they have a better record than the Raptors as well too. So how can you explain that? This is how people get tricked at the book. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and take the Thunder tonight to go ahead and get a big upset here, and let's see how it shakes out. All right, so we move on to our final. This is going to be the Knicks. And the Knicks at the Wolves. Knicks coming in here as a 3.5-point favorite, over under 218.5. The Knicks, as you know, are one of the lower scoring teams in the league as well, but they are up to it, and they've really done a good job against the bad teams in the NBA. And I think that they're going to continue that good job tonight with a win over the Wolves. And I don't think it's going to even be that close, to be honest with you. I think that the Knicks will take advantage of this right away and find themselves winning a big game. And I say this because the Knicks are somewhat in a groove this season. Now, they're 6-6 this month of March. They're 2-4 on the road. But come on, it's Minnesota, a team that's only won 11 games this year. They're 4-8 in the month of March, 2-4 at home as well. So when you look at this and numbers stack up, I think the Knicks give themselves a good 5-point or better victory tonight. So there it is. That's going to be a wrap for our NBA Wednesday preview. And when we get back, we will be covering Talkin Tickets. But before that, you guys check out Fubo TV. You guys can go ahead and press the link, and you guys can go ahead and get Fubo TV for 7 days free on me. Just press the link right there in the show description, and you guys will have Fubo TV. You guys already know live TV and live sports, and you guys have all the channels that you can desire when it comes to sports. So there it is. That's Fubo TV, and start your free trial today. And just note that it's $55 a month, no credit check. So once you're done with Fubo, you can move along, and they'll move along as well too. So there it is. We'll be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for your favorite time, Talking Tickets. All right, so we got a 49-1 ticket here tonight. We got under 221 with the Blazers and the Pistons. I got the Knicks with the -3.5 tonight as well too. We had the Pacers with the even money line, and then we're going to take the Thunder as our dog of the day with the +265, and then we have the over 230.5 with the Kings and the Spurs tonight. So once again, that's going to be the NBA Super High Five for you, 49-1, and we are going to go ahead and rock it like this: under 221, Blazers Pistons, -3.5 to the Knicks, even money on the Pacers, +265 on the Thunder, over 230.5, Kings and Spurs. Single what you like. And that's going to be Talking Tickets for you right there. And you guys can go ahead and bet these tickets over at UWager, where the world bets at. You guys can use my promo code VSXPOP, and you guys will receive up to 50% on a match deposit. So if you put up $500, they'll match $250, and now you have yourself a $250 free play to start your betting journey with. All right, so with that, I want to go ahead and give a big shout out to my graphics producer. Always a great job from you, brother. And also want to send a big shout out to Bree Mott and Brian Howard as well too from Stable Duel. I would look forward to doing horsing around tomorrow. You guys make sure to check out. Have an awesome setup, fantasy sports. That's exactly the place. All right, so guys, very much into show today. And once again, there is no me without you. And as I always bet with your head, not with your heart. And the movement is movement. So with that, we'll be back to you tomorrow. And this is the premier sports betting show with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And this is the Primetime Angles Live. And I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.